See you feeling like getting ready for a championship game on Saturday?
Yeah, it was today. There was a ton of energy. Yesterday, I wouldn't say we were flat, but, coming off a longer break, that's pretty typical that kind of getting back into the groove of things. But today, man, the energy was super high. I don't know if it was the extra cold and the wind and the snow or what it was, but, man, the guys were having fun. They were having fun, flying around, and you could tell there was a lot of excitement building up to Saturday. So.
Whether it's George or Dimitri or Isaiah, there's been a lot of turnover in the edge room in the last few weeks. What have you seen out of young guys like Devin Wright and Gabe Hunter so far?
Yeah, you look at Gabe last week. I mean, he made, the play of the game, you could arguably say, and proud to just see how he has progressed. And he's made some, solid plays and some routine plays that he should make, but he's going to go in there and he's going to do his job. And then with Devin, just the opportunity for him to go in and rush the passer, I think that's been primarily, his role in our team, and I think he's done a good job with that, and I think he's going to continue to do a good job. And then, Jaden, I'm excited about Jaden. Jaden's progressing as well, and so I think there's a good group of young guys in there with some vets, and luckily those vet guys stick around to be able to help those guys out. But yeah, it's the room is, it has great depth, but obviously there's those younger guys in there we weren't, planning on to play a lot this year, but they've, I think they've stepped up and done a good job.
I'm sure Gabe and Devin are pretty raw. When you're teaching someone the edge position, what do you kind of prioritize?
Really what it comes down to is just our fundamentals and techniques. Just making sure that we know how to take on blocks. That's number one. Being able to always start with the run defense, but that's always just number one. Just our great stance, great footwork. Where we place our hands, and those have all been new things for Devin, especially. Gabe's been around, but those things just continue to build those things with Dev as the season's gone on, and be able to see his improvements. That's been exciting to see. I think he's going to be a really good player here.
Hayner has completed 75% of his passes, and I'm sure, like any quarterback, is better if he has time. So how do you get the pressure?
Hayner, that's the question right there. Everybody wants to know about, right? Good player, man. Really good player. Knows where to throw the ball. He does a really good job of moving his feet and being able to, avoid contact. But really, ultimately, at the end of the day, we just got to give him, a bunch of different looks and, change things up for him. And ultimately, I think Wyoming did a pretty good job of that and held them, under 200 yards passing. But, obviously the score didn't go in their favor. But I thought did a good job of keeping him, kind of guessing in what he was doing. But, man, the guy's a good player. And, we got our work cut out for us Saturday. So it'll be fun. Good challenge.
When it comes back, going back to Gabe real quick, it's a little more instinctual for those guys that want to rush the passer to go forward. But on that play, he's dropping backwards. How nice was that play? Could you just take us through it a little bit? Yeah,
that's that's a drop that we work all the time with those stud linebackers, and he was just in the right place, right when the quarterback threw it, and really in the exact spot that we needed him to. And really, probably a lot of people, they didn't see he was on a number 2 receiver to start, and he got a great reroute on him. On that receiver, I think it was number 0, who's a pretty good speedy guy, got a good reroute on him to help out our safety, and then just expanded to the flat, got right in the window underneath the number 1 receiver, and just was able to outreach his hand just enough to be able to make that play. That was awesome, because we needed to make a play. You guys know that we were kind of reeling right there as a defense and struggling to get a stop, and that was a huge play, especially in that moment. That was awesome. I was really happy for him.
What's that doing for his confidence? I mean, you guys are just asking him to do a lot right now, and then on top of that, he's darn near the top of your team in interceptions now.
Oh yeah, No, he's made some big plays, but just a guy that's always been there. He's been consistent. He's never complained. He's been a guy that's just ready for his opportunity. And when Meach went down and all these other guys went down, he was just ready to step right in and came into that BYU game and did a solid job. And ever since then, he's a guy that we count on, that he's going to go out there and he's going to do his job and he's going to help our defense be successful.
With Devin, I know when you come from JUCO, sometimes it takes almost that first full year to really adjust to the D1 level. I mean, I don't know what your plan was for him coming in, but obviously he's probably had to accelerate that a little faster. I mean, how have you seen him continue to improve this year, and what is the ceiling for a guy like that?
Yeah, I think, ultimately it was like what I said before with the pass rush. That was the role that we had for him, but now he's more into those first and second down plays as well. And so just being able to get him to understand the whole scheme of things and being disciplined and doing his job. But that's pretty typical of most freshmen or newcomers in. So he's come a long way from spring, and we are, Coach Av, myself, and Coach D are really happy with the progression that he's made. And you just don't find a guy that's 6'5" and runs like he does and can move like he does. And so just being able to continue to progress him and develop him, like I said before, he has a chance to be something special here.
When George and Dimitri go down, how much different is your schematics? Like, how much do you have to change when your starters go?
Yeah, we haven't changed that much. Okay. There's been a little tweak here and there, but it's really basically the same stuff that we've been doing, and that's just the system that we have here. And so, and luckily we had great depth in that room, and so we'll continue to do what we do, and there'll be some tweaks here and there, but ultimately at the end of the day we have an identity here and we're going to stick to it.
So with Dimitri, saw him go out a couple of weeks ago, then he tweeted not long after that it was great to be out at practice one day. Like, how much does he try to stay in the fight with whatever he's dealing with?
Yeah, he's just battling, man, and I think it's just good to have him around to be able to with a guy like Gabe to kind of give him his experience of exactly what he's gone through and what he's seen, and kind of help Gabe and Devin and Jaden with those opportunities that come their way. And so whenever you have a guy like that, way better for a guy like that to tell him and coach him than a guy like me that been a long time since I've done it. And so he's just like an extra coach out there right now, and so it's been fun and exciting to have that kind of extra what would that be, the extra source to be able to just help those guys be successful.
Well, it was a rough start of the season, and after that UTEP game there was some changes and stuff, but how was Coach Avalos, and then funneling that down to you guys? Like, what pillars did you instill in this team to kind of keep them focused on the goal throughout a kind of a chaotic couple weeks?
Yeah, I don't think honestly much changed, man.
Really?
Honestly, we just stayed the course, and we had a plan, and the plan was in place all the way back in January, and we knew the plan would work, and we just had to make sure that we executed the plan, and we weren't doing a great job of executing the plan at the beginning of the season, and we just have built more and more confidence as the season's gone on, and we followed the plan. And that's, ultimately at the end of the day, I think Coach Avalos has done a great job with that, of being able to have a vision for the program and for the guys to buy into that vision, and that even though we had some adversity at the beginning of the season, we didn't, all of a sudden just do a wholesale change because there was a little bit of adversity. And he stayed the course, and we as a program stayed the course, and I think we were, having this opportunity Saturday because of that we didn't panic and we stayed with what we believed in.
What's it like for an assistant or a staff to see the head coach get conference coach of the year? And how does that go down here? I doubt Andy's the type of guy that comes in and says, "Hey guys, guess what?"
Oh no, he didn't even know. We were actually sitting in our defensive staff meeting yesterday, and I think somebody was like, "Coach Av, you," and he was just sitting there. He's like, "Yeah," but he immediately just complimented all of us. He's like, "I don't get this unless it was for the players, their commitment, and the coaches, and everything you've done." And so he didn't take any of the credit; he gave all the credit to everybody else, which is a sign of great leadership.
You look at the last time you guys played Fresno. You doubled them up on the scoreboard, but their offense did a pretty good job of sustaining drives at times. I mean, you kind of shut that down over the last quarter and a half. But
yeah.
What did you learn about that matchup with them, and then how might things change with JK?
Yeah, they had some really good run game that they hadn't shown, and they did a really good job, I think, getting the quarterback involved and doing some wildcat stuff that they had some success with. And then ultimately, really, their quarterback gave us some issues scrambling. We had a hard time kind of containing him, and so just him being able to contain or being able to extend the play, and us not being able to contain him, he got out of 2 or 3 sacks that we should have had him down for. I mean, I think George missed 2 where they should have been big losses. One on a 3rd down where he kind of just threw the ball up there and extended a play. But yeah, going in middle of the 3rd quarter, the game's tied 20-20. So they did a really good job, I think, of game planning for the situation they had with their backup quarterback and designing some really good run schemes. But ultimately at the end of the day, yeah, we'll be prepared for that and those schemes because they had some success with it. But also all the things that Hainer brings to the table. So it's going to be a great challenge for us. And I know our guys are very excited about it.
I'm sure you're focused on the offensive side of the ball, but have you had a chance to watch Fresno State safety Evan Williams play at all this year? He's a pretty special guy.
Not at all.
No.
My focus is right here, bro. Boom.
Sure. Yeah.
Number 9. Let's get him down. Let's sack him.
Did you watch their game with Boise State last year?
Yeah.
And how did Boise State get 5 sacks against them?
Yeah, it just ultimately at the end of the day, we're just different looks and being able to just throw a bunch of different things at him. Just like I was saying before, being able to just change up the windows, being able to change up the look that he's seeing, and ultimately if you can just get him to hold on to the ball 1 split second longer than what he's usually hoping for, then that gives us an opportunity to quarterback, and that's what they did a great job of a year ago, is just changing up that pitcher for him and him holding on to the ball to where then, we're able to get pressure. And they had some really good design pressures, and so hopefully, we can continue to do that come Saturday.
What have you thought about Caden Dudley returning kicks?
Awesome. Caden's been a guy I've been kind of hoping for that he would develop, throughout the season. I kind of saw something early in camp, and, just being a young guy and really not having the opportunity to secure the football in the game, you always hesitate. You don't want to have him get in there and all of a sudden he fumbles the ball away and, give the ball back to the other team. But I've been really pleased with him. He's done a great job. He's really, brought an extra spark to that team, and loved the way that he set the tone at the beginning of last week and did a great job against Wyoming, and I think had some good returns against Nevada and BYU as well. So it's been pretty consistent over the last month of him being able to, just have him back there, and he's going where he's supposed to go, and he doesn't slow down either. And that's what I always love about running backs, the picture that a running back sees compared to a receiver. Running backs are used to running in small, tight spaces and making quick decisions, where receivers are more out in open space. So it's really hard, in my opinion, to find a great returner at receiver, where I think it's a little easier to find a great returner at running back because they're used to running in those tight windows.
But with your connections and ties, obviously being at Virginia, how tough was it to see what happened there?
Yeah, it was tough, man. Deshaun was one of my top recruits, and just kind of reflecting back on our relationship and all that. That was a tough week. Still is tough. Just yesterday I was talking to the mom about the funeral that I was hoping to get out to, but just with our schedule didn't work out. So we'll be able to get out there and see them hopefully here in the off season. But yeah, it was just, probably for me the hardest thing was just being out here and not being able to be in Virginia with all those people that I love and care for, and be able to just mourn with them and comfort them, and try to comfort them. But that was something that you hope never happens. That did, and really unfortunate deal, and just being able to honor him at the Wyoming game, and then this last week as well with the decal that Coach Ab and Jeremiah put out there was awesome, and a moment of silence that meant a lot to me.
One more with Jake. One thing that stands out is his toughness. I mean, you go back to the UCLA game last year. I mean, they basically had to cart him off the field, and he just kept firing. Like, what is it about his toughness, or is that anything about his game that stands out to you?
Oh yeah, no, we definitely know he's a tough guy, and especially after the injury he got against USC this year. When I watched it live and I saw it happen, I thought, he broke his leg, he's done. And to be able to see him come back and play at the level that he's playing just tells you that the guy has a great mindset, and he's a true competitor, and ultimately that's the type of guy that you want at quarterback. So obviously they've done a great job to get him in their program. And we just know that we're dealing with a guy that's a ultra competitor, and very talented. And then ultimately at the end of the day, hopefully we put the right schemes in front of him to, like I said before, make him hold on to the ball longer than he has to, and we can get after him a little bit. So.
What impressed